Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Brother Sister Show, a family owned and operated podcast where two siblings keep in touch by talking about movies. That is just ingrained, like tattooed in my brain. Today, holy shit. Okay, so today we are talking about two new movies that are on streaming services. One on Netflix called The House, the second on HBO Max called The Fallout. Before we get to that, how are you, Anthony?
Doing okay, chilling. Sundance is over, or it's been over for me for a whole week. At this
Mentally,
point,
but like emotionally.
emotionally,
I'm still there.
I'm still there. The vibe is still like high.
That's good.
But I'm gonna make a video talking about all the movies that I saw, but I ended on a really good note with Cha Cha Real Smooth, who won the award for best. It
Was
won
it
an
audience?
award. Yeah, I think the
No.
audience, like the dramatic competition. I don't know. I'll like put the picture of like what it won.
Okay.
But that one was really nice because it's like a rom-com a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other ones were like super, like all thrillers. Like I watched a bunch of thrillers. So it's like,
Did you watch
weird.
a movie called Fresh?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I
I've been
saw
seeing
that
stuff
one.
about
And
that movie.
I have all of those on my, like, there's a bunch that I didn't watch, obviously, but that was on my like watch list. Which
You know what I've been
kind of
doing?
sucks.
Oh, how?
Because like, I don't know, like there's so many movies to watch, and I guess I had time, or it's just like hard to pick which ones you want to watch. Because
Yeah. I feel ya.
what were you saying?
Oh, so I've been kind of not doing that, but I've been like trying to find different movies to watch. Like I've obviously been asking or I don't know if I said this, but I've been asking my family, our family, if like what classics I should be watching. So I have that on my watch list, but then I've also I was like, I wonder what movies, because The Fallout is a movie that I saw at South by last year. And I was like, I wonder what movies I could have seen if I went to South by when I was supposed to go, or even last year, movies that I just didn't end up watching. Because I don't know what it was like for Sundance, like the online one, but for South by, it basically was kind of the same thing where they only had like movies had a certain I didn't have to watch them at a certain time. Like you could if you wanted it to premiere, or if you wanted to see the premiere, but you only had like either that night or you had like a week to watch these movies, and like obviously there's only a certain amount of hours in a day. So I did still have to, pick and choose what I wanted to watch. And so I was just curious about some of the movies I didn't end up watching. So I've been doing that. So I all that to say, I'm sure you've kept all those movies that you wanted to watch in your watch list, and then you'll keep up with them, right?
Yeah, I'll
To
keep
see where
up
they
with
end
them.
up.
Yeah, even the ones that I did see, like I saw Cha Cha Real Smooth got picked up by Apple TV Plus. Another one of Dakota Johnson's that premiered got picked up by HBO Max. I'm excited to see where they end up.
And surprisingly, a lot of movies that I looked at movies at South by, like I was looking at I'm looking at other festivals, but South by is just obviously very near and dear to me. So I looked up where a lot of those went. And Sundance is a whole nother thing. Like Oscar winners come from Sundance, but and there's a lot on platforms that I didn't even like take into account. I finally got a Canopy.
Oh, really?
Fubu. Also, Peacock. They had a lot of indies. Like, there's a couple I watched a lot of movies, and so there's a couple I watched, or I at least added to my watch list from Peacock. And then, like I said, I got Canopy because I signed up for there's an online, because I guess you can get a library card online. I don't know how it works, but in at least San Antonio, there's a library that's specifically online, and so I just got a card from them. And also, I was gonna ask you, as the Canopy, you use it, right?
Yeah, that's actually I've been watching. I was gonna like this week. I'm probably gonna watch strictly Canopy movies only.
Okay. So, do you have a limit too? Is that just how Canopy works, where you only have a certain amount?
That you can like watch or
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
Maybe it's
okay.
just it depends on like who the subscription set up with because mine's through the university.
Oh, maybe because mine it told me I think it said I have like five or six viewings or like plays a month. Which at first I was like, what the hell? But you know what? That's fine. I think that's okay, you know?
Yeah, unless you're like watching it like how you've been
Yeah.
watching movies this week or how I have been the whole month. Like you'll stretch that out. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and I do this thing. Either I go on my watch list. I have two ways of watching movies. I either go on my watch list and you showed me how to put it on shuffle, and so I just whatever's at the top, I'll just choose that. Or I'll just go through like I'll watch something on Netflix, and after that I'll go to the app that's like literally next to that one, and then I'll just scroll. I'll like have
Oh.
to pick like after Netflix is done. I think Hulu is next on my Roku, and so I'll just like I have to pick something from Hulu to watch. And so just because I don't know why. I just like randomize things, and so it helps me decide because if
Mhm.
I had like the entirety of whatever's available to me to choose something, then I get really overwhelmed. So it's easier to be like, well, here's Hulu, and that's why I found all these movies on Peacock, um, because I was just like going through them, you know.
Right.
Unless I have a certain urge, like I had the weirdest urge to watch Dark Phoenix last night, which we can talk about later.
That's a
And then I'll
sentence that
follow
hasn't
those
been.
urges.
That's a new sentence. That's never been spoken
It's the
before.
same thing that happened with X-Men, where I was like, I couldn't tell you one fucking thing that happens in this movie, and so I just wanted to watch it. It's bad. It's still obviously bad, but it wasn't as funny as I thought it was. I thought it was like super funny, you know.
No.
I saw a chuckle though. Not funny as in like they wanted it to be funny, but like funny as in it was really funny.
Oh.
That's what I meant.
Well,
Yeah.
there's that scene where I guess spoiler where Jennifer Lawrence's character dies, right? That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Where she's
That no. That's kind of funny. Especially because it's like, that. Okay, so there is a scene with her where she tells Xavier because she's mad at him because he's like, you know, accepting all these medals and whatnot, and she says, by the way, she says, by the way, all the women are always doing stuff here and saving the men.
Oh
You should
yeah.
call it ex women. So fucking bad.
Man, the
And then
writers'
I
room was like,
remembered exactly. And then I remembered that this movie was written and directed by the same guy that did the 355.
oh. So he took that line and just made it a movie.
Yeah, he was like girl boss. And Jennifer Lawrence, she saw it. She read it in the script, and she, as she was, you know, crossing out all the direction, the important direction that is, you know, needed for a script, as she was, you know, just crossing it out, she read that line and she was like, he knows what it's like to be a woman.
That's
knows.
funny.
Oh, and then there's another funny. We could just talk about it now, and I just want to talk about it
Yeah.
later. There is a funny moment where Jean, first of all, the timeline is so confusing to me, especially because I remembered the whole Deadpool, like what happened in the Deadpool, the second one, how that one is like present day,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
the younger X-Men are like they have a little cameo, and I watched it on YouTube because I couldn't remember who was in it, because I thought it was just like Logan or something, but people in the comments were like, I like how this like 6-second cameo just ruined the entire X-Men timeline
Yeah.
because it
I
should have
mean,
been the older ones. It's all fucked up. I don't know.
Yeah,
The X-Men timeline is it just confuses me so much. I don't get it. Anyways, there's a funny moment where Jean is, I think Scott is trying to keep her from like leaving. Also, the younger Scott that they casted, I don't like him. He always has his mouth open.
The dude from Ready Player One.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I sorry to that man, but I just don't like him. Anyways, he like, he said that he doesn't want her to go or whatever because she's like leaving or whatever, and she like somehow, I guess with his mind, she like knocks him out, and the way that he falls is so funny. It's so slow, but it looks like it's like not supposed to be in slow motion. I don't know. It's strange, but the way it happened is very funny.
Okay.
Like if you, I don't know if there's a way you can find a clip, or I'll try to find a clip of it and you can just insert it because it's hilarious how he just like goes limp out of nowhere.
That's funny.
Yeah. Not great. Other than that, I've just been watching movies and working. That's really it.
Yeah, well, I don't have anything, so you
My
can
life.
get into your movies straight up.
Well, do you want to do yours? Oh, no, let's do mine. Because I have a lot. Sorry, I should have had it ready. Let's see. God, I watched a lot.
Yeah, I was like...
What was the last one I talked about? Do you remember? Insidious. Okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I every day I just kept logging shit.
I was so surprised because I was like, damn, she's still in it. She really wants to be in it still.
Oh, I'm fucking in it. All right. So I watched Rewind, the one that you... That's the thing. So I added all the ones that you recommended to my watch list, but I don't think I only saw this one. Rough. Good documentary. Very good. Very rough to watch. I did have to watch in 2 sittings. It was a little too much to watch in all at once.
When did you stop? When was it?
Too
much.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, that's fine.
But it was like truly halfway, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was when he had started to when he was getting older and they were like, when he first told them what happened. Or I think right before what happened to the sister.
Oh, okay.
I think that's when I stopped. But I just like, I think it's something that just happened where I either had to take Randy outside or it just so happened that I had to pause it and I was like, oh, let me revisit this in a little bit.
Is it a harder watch than the other one you mentioned last episode, the Dear Zachary, or?
Dear Zachary stays with you a lot more. But this Rewind was a lot harder to watch throughout because it deals with obviously the sexual abuse of children, and Dear Zachary doesn't deal. It deals with like still really heavy shit, but not stuff that's like harder to sit through.
Okay.
But like you said, I liked the style of it. Mm-hmm. It was interesting to see how I don't know, just the way that the family talked about this trauma was just very I don't know, just very interesting to me.
Yeah, especially the father.
Yeah. And they were just so honest, and it just felt really I don't know, it just felt like something I shouldn't have been seeing, you know?
Yeah.
But
very fortunate. I mean, it is a really compelling story, and it's like I was like so surprised. Like I was like, damn, this shit ain't over. Like I feel so bad.
Yeah, it just kept going and going. And yeah, I don't know. It was just the way it unfolded in front of me was very affecting.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's so hard. I feel like it's so hard to make a movie about not just something this heinous, but something like that happened to you that is this, disturbing. But I feel like they handled it in a very weirdly, like a delicate, I don't know if I can say if delicate's the right word, but like I think they handled it perfectly. Like it wasn't, I didn't feel like it was too much. I feel like obviously it was a lot because of the, just in general, just what happened. But yeah, I don't know. It really felt like somebody just filling me in on what happened in their lives and why it's important for me to know, because it leads to obviously a call to action, which usually a lot of documentaries do, of how to prevent it and how to help out.
Resources.
Yeah. So, man, that guy is very, very strong guy.
Yeah.
Okay. After that, I watched Black Bear. I think you've seen this, right?
Yeah, I'm very excited.
That's an interesting one. I don't really think I know what happened. I think I kind of understand. But yeah, I don't know. A weird one.
Yeah, it's definitely weird because
so I have to blow my
it's
nose.
like broken up into 2 parts, and like the first part I was like, okay, I get what's happening. Then the second part's like, nah, you thought you did, but like you don't even know.
Yeah, and I don't know. I still don't really know if I liked it all that much. I mean, I do know. I think I did, but I don't know if it's because of it being actually interesting in a interesting way to tell a story, or if Aubrey Plaza is just really good.
Probably a little bit of both, but
maybe
more leaning towards Aubrey Plaza, because like seeing her,
holy shit,
like there was a premiere at Sundance where she was like the lead, and it was fantastic. So
she's so good.
Yeah.
I liked it. I think I don't know. It was very. It was just so weird.
I wonder if like it would benefit from a rewatch, because like what to expect, and you'll like look into more of like the nuanced details. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah. The ending did kind of like creep me out. The way she looked into spoiler, but the way she looked into the camera, that like freaked me out. That's not really a spoiler. I guess it kind of is. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it and then maybe have different thoughts or opinions about it. But yeah, I don't know. Then I watched Waitress because I told Smash, I was like, I'm watching too many like heavy, like too much heavy shit. I need to watch something that I'm familiar with, but I also really like. And I really like Waitress. I watched Silver Bullet, which is one on my list that Mom and Dad said is a good classic to watch, and it was okay. It was a lot better than I thought it would be for like an older movie about werewolves. That some of the effects were not great, obviously, but it was pretty good. It was a good mystery. Then a couple from TikTok, I watched The Resident, which I think is a remake of a foreign film I've seen, and obviously the foreign film was way better. The Midnight Meat Train, which I don't know if you've heard about this, but it made me so angry. I've heard about it for a while, and I finally watched it, and I thought it was a foreign film, but Bradley Cooper's in it. So I was like,
really?
As soon as I saw him, I was like, oh god, I don't think I'm gonna like this. And I didn't. I really didn't. And the girlfriend in it, she was so fucking annoying, because there was this part. I wondered, maybe I'll make you watch this movie when you lose, because this one fight that they had just really baffled me. Like, I didn't understand at all why she was angry, kind of thing. I just really didn't like it. Or I watched another a movie that you recommended, The Breaker Upperers. Was that on your list, or you just mentioned it?
I just mentioned it. I didn't really recommend it. I think I had similar like thoughts as you did. Like the beginning was pretty strong, and then it was just like
it just got weird and not as funny. I really like the two main women, and I would, if they made another, I don't know if they make other things, but if they made like another movie, I think I would definitely watch it. But yeah, I didn't really care for it, and I didn't care for one main like storyline with one of the girls and that like guy that she dated at the end. That felt strange to me because of the age difference. Like, I didn't really like that a lot, but it was fine. Then I watched The Rental, which is, I think it was Dave Franco's directorial debut, and it was fine. I mean, I somebody put this in their review, and I really agree with it, where they were like, I don't really understand what makes this a Dave Franco film. And like, you know, like it doesn't really have any, it felt like it didn't really have any, other than his wife being in it, it didn't really feel like I don't know if what his style is. I don't know what his vision is. It just felt like somebody wrote this movie, somebody came up with all the ideas and gave it to him, which it sounds kind of mean to say, but like what are you doing with this kind of material? It seemed interesting, an interesting concept, but it just didn't really work for me. I watched a YouTube. Okay, this is a hard sell, but I want you to watch this. Where it's a YouTube. I honestly amazed that it's on Letterboxd, but it's a YouTube video from I think the creator's called Defunct Land, and they just do a lot of stuff about not just Disneyland, but I think parks in general. But it's called Disney's Fast Pass: A Complicated History, and it's literally like an hour and a half video of the Fast Pass and history of it. But it has one of the best twists I've seen in a while.
A Fast Pass twist?
Yeah. It just, the way that the story is told is so interesting. Like, I didn't get bored at all throughout it. And as people that have, I don't know how much you remember from it, but as people that went during the heyday of the Fast Pass, I think it's interesting to compare our experience with the ones that they detail. And it's just, it's so funny to see something like this and to to see something about a Fast Pass that I've heard a lot of people talk about, you know, this documentary, and how good it is. And it is really good. And this YouTuber is very good at what he does. So I would highly recommend. Then I watched Hide and Seek. It's just an older movie. It's fine if you want. I think it's on Netflix or something. It's fine. It has a weird, you know, premise, like a mystery kind of thing, and the twist is kind of interesting, but Then I watched two that I was supposed to see at South by when I was supposed to go the first time. One called Really Love. Not much to say about it. Boring, and I was really sad about it. And The Surrogate, which is actually very interesting. I think that it's on Canopy.
Okay.
It was really good.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this poster before.
Yeah, I only gave it like 3.5 stars, but it was a very interesting concept. I guess the sell for this is the concept itself, but this girl wants to be a surrogate for her two best friends. And they find out pretty early on when you can do like genetic testing, and they find out that the kid is going to be born with Down syndrome. And so it's like a kind of the moral, like it's just like it's a complicated situation and the characters trying to figure their way through it. It's very interesting. I highly recommend. Then another familiar one that I just wanted to watch, Silver Linings Playbook, classic, love it. Falling for Figaro. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's on Hulu. I think it's just a new indie that came out last year. It's a like little rom-com of this girl trying to be an opera singer. It's fine. One thing I really loved about it that's notable, it has the girl from Dumplin', and
okay,
obviously she's a fat actress, and it's a rom-com where she has a boyfriend, and then it's like, you know, kind of a love triangle where this guy falls for her, but no mention at all of the fact that these two guys are skinny and she is a bigger woman, which I really love. That's like a notable thing of it. And I think that's probably why I'll rewatch it, even though it's not that great of a movie. It's like, you know, kind of bland and really predictable.
Right.
But I wish I would have had a movie like this when I was younger, because it would have because every fucking time there's a fat woman on screen, you always have to fucking talk about it. Or like, you know, she always has to be not sure of herself. And this girl in this movie is so confident, and just love it.
Well, that's nice that that's nice that this movie does that.
Yeah. And I want to give it the credit for that, for, you know, being a normal fucking movie. All right. Almost done. So I watched Wrong Turn, which is, I think I don't know if it's an adaptation. I don't know what it is because there's the Wrong Turn movies that came out I think in the early 2000s. This one's interesting. The way that I've never seen the first Wrong Turn movie. I think it's a lot different than the one that I watched. I think a 1 star is a little harsh for it, but it just felt very. It was. I think I'm just a harsh grader in general.
You are.
Because I don't know, a 4 feels like you have to really wow me to have a 4, you know?
That's fair.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm too precious with it, but whatever. I'd rather, but like an average movie, a good movie is a 3, I think. I don't know if you agree with that or if a 4 should be good. But like, I think an average, like, you entertained me, you did what you had to do, but it didn't really, do something amazing. I think that's a 3.
Yeah, I think our bar for amazing is probably different,
Wow.
but
Maybe. But Wrong Turn was fine. I don't know. There was like 3 points in the movie that I thought it was going to end. And when I'm waiting for your movie to end, I think that is kind of a 1 star.
oh, yeah. True.
All right. I watched After We Fell. And you said when you watched it that there was a scene that you specifically hated a lot. Which scene was it? I thought you did say that. Or did you?
I don't remember.
You said a bar scene.
There's so much. I think it might have been the first bar where she's like leaves and another guy's introduced.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Just the whole movie, pretty much.
It was really bad. But there was one scene that I sent you a video of that I was laughing hysterically. It was one of the funniest, I told Sebastian, I think that's one of the funniest things I've seen in a movie this year. Because it made me laugh so fucking hard. Where the girl in it, I think in the previous movie, I think there's like this kind of conflict where she doesn't really have a romantic moment, or like, well, she did say a moment, but she didn't have, like, it was kind of like another love interest, but not really, with one of the Sprouse twins. And in this movie, her boyfriend brings it up. And he was like, did you guys ever like do it? Like, did anything ever happen? And all she said was, well, there was a moment. And without any fucking hesitation, he just gets up and leaves. Doesn't want to hear anything else. Does not give a shit about what she's going to say. And it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie, I think. And honestly, I was going to give it 0 stars, but it almost earned a full star, but it earned a half star just for that moment because it was so fucking funny.
It's ridiculous how insane that movie is. Like
it's so bad.
That was my lowest rated movie of 2021.
Fair. And did you know that there's gonna be another one?
I don't doubt it.
And did you see what it's called?
After We End.
No, it's called. I have to hold up. I have to make sure.
Yeah, you don't want to butcher this.
Okay, it's called After Ever Happy. I'm not fucking kidding. It's called After Ever Happy. Sebastian told me that, and I was like, "Are you okay? Like, did you mean to say that?" And you know what? Sebastian's a genius because he was like, "Oh, it's supposed to be like happily ever after, but backwards."
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but either way, After Ever Happy. I am speechless.
That's another one where the writer's room were like, we did it, guys.
We did it. Everybody go home.
That's a wrap for today.
They must know they must know it's bad, right? When you were watching it, Sebastian, because I think it was the main actor, he was like, I don't know what he was doing. He was like saying something. And I was like, do you think his family's proud of him? Also, the funniest thing about that movie, well, there's so many funny things about this movie, but number one is that people always criticize his British accent, and he's British, like that's his accent, and people are like, it sounds fake. That's so I fucking, you know what? You know what we should do? We should make an event of. Oh wait, it's gonna be in theaters? Do you think? After
Probably.
We After Collide. Is that what it's called?
as also written by Aunt May from Spider-Man.
I was like, what? Okay. After Happy we, you know what
With
I would like to
responsibility.
think is that it was like an accident. You know, like she somehow you know, like when you're texting or something, somebody's talking to you, and you're like, they're like, what do you want to name? What's the title of the movie? And you're like, after, ever happy. They're like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, just do it.
Let it happen.
All right. Okay.
God, that's so bad.
No, I think we should make an event of it. I think we need to go to the movies to see it.
I'm kind of excited
To see the last one?
for it to end. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's such a fun movie. It's bullshit. It's so bad that people give money to like make this movie. But you know what? It was fun. It was a really fun experience to watch this with Sebastian. I had a lot of fun watching it.
Yeah. I couldn't just like openly talk shit about it though.
Yeah.
Because I was in the theater. I just had to like hear people sniffling and crying.
Crying?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what episode
Oh my God.
it was on that I talked about it, but
I think and then I talked about The Fault in Our Stars.
yeah.
When people cried. Well, it's probably Sebastian. He was like in the front, just like sobbing. No kidding. What was I gonna say? I forgot. But yeah. Oh, that's what I told Sebastian when we were watching it. And I was like, you want to know a fun fact? And he said, what? And I said, Anthony went to the theaters to watch this. And he was like, are you serious? He said, what theater would play this? And I was like, I don't know.
Cinemark showed up.
Hilarious. Okay. Almost done. I watched Cardinals, which is one of the movies I found on Peacock, and it was really good. Maybe I'll be nice to you this time when you lose, and you can watch this one, because it was a very interesting concept, and it was a very withholding. You know, I fucking love when a movie just withholds every piece of information and just, doses it out in like really small chunks throughout the movie. So good.
The poster
then the house
on Netflix kind of goes off.
Cardinals?
Yeah.
It's on Netflix?
Oh, I meant Letterboxd, my bad.
Oh, yeah, this is I think that was the poster that I saw, and I judge a movie by the cover poster.
Yeah. As you should, honestly.
I always do. And I am very excited I'm very happy that I did. Then obviously The House and The Fallout, and the last two we already talked about Dark Phoenix, but I also watched The Humans, which is another poster that goes off. And I don't know the reason I asked for the Prime Video password just randomly is because I was logged into Sebastian's, the one with his family, but Mom told me that her and Dad got Showtime on Prime. I don't know if you knew this.
Yeah.
And that has a lot of good movies. It has The Humans, which is what I watch. I don't know if you've heard about this movie. I just assume you did.
I have. I see it, and it's just like a hard sell for me because I know it's just like just a bunch of talking. So
yes, which is what I typically like. I love a slow burn. I love a movie where it's just talking and conversations. And I didn't love this one. I didn't like it. It also had Stephen Yeun in it, and I was like, of course I'm gonna love it.
I know. I remember it being a big thing like when it came out, but I just never watched it.
I would still recommend it. It's kind of boring. You kind of wait for something to happen the whole time, but visually, spatially, like it's a very interesting movie, and I feel like it would inspire you a lot.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only reason I recommend it, just because of the way that it's like staged, and I feel like it had a lot of potential. So I just watch it just purely for that. I think you would like it.
Yeah, I'm sure like visually it was probably like a
it was really cool.
Good movie.
Especially the ending. I really want to if you're not going to watch the whole thing, just watch like the last 10 minutes, and I think you'll like it.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah. Oh God, I'm so sorry that took like so long, but
no, that's fine.
We did it.
Well, I don't have too much. Like the only movies that I watched are basically the ones that I had to for this podcast,
which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, so I watched after Sundance, like I said, it ended on a rom-com, so I watched What If, probably my favorite. I I just love that movie. It's like a
You know who's in it?
yeah. I didn't know that. Okay, so the sister of Zoe Kazan in that movie is the director of The Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whoa, blew my mind.
Yep.
That's just serendipitous that I watched it. And then last night I watched Aziz Ansari's new special on Netflix, which I didn't know existed. I watched it because I like his like style of comedy, and the last one that he made was I don't know, it was obviously different. Like he is, it's like a little bit more like quiet, and this one's only 30 minutes. This new one, it's called Nightclub Comedian, and it's just interesting to see, like, because he's living in London now. Just felt like he's going back to his roots, and like the ending kind of shows that. Has some like footage of his like first ever set, so that was interesting. I'll probably forget about it in a week, or honestly, like tomorrow. But then before that, I watched Pride and Prejudice.
Oh,
Which,
you dummy.
I just don't get, because I kept on seeing the reviews saying like this is the best romance story ever.
I think it is. I watch it all the time. I fucking love it.
I don't know. Maybe
Let me
I'm just
convince
missing
you.
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what?
Me.
It's fine. I think you need to probably, I know you probably won't, but you need to watch it again. Because it's just the whole, like, I think it's the language I understand how it can be like hard to understand. I'm mostly just making fun of you.
Oh yeah, because I was watching it on the bus, and I was like, the only thing I've been reading, like, I felt like I read this movie because I like put on subtitles, and I was like, okay, what the fuck is happening? Because like they're just using.
You're not supposed to do that, because that I think that confuses it, because when how you understand what they're saying is when you hear the way they're saying it and you see their faces, because it's portrayed with a lot of like. Nobody really understands perfectly what they're saying. At least not a normal, viewer like me and you. But you get it with context and with like the clues,
Okay, because I like, there was like some parts where I would like pause and I'd be like, okay, what does that mean? And I was like, okay, all right, we got it, let's move on. It wasn't like throughout, but there was like 3 or 4 that I can think of. Like when she first meets Mr. Darcy, they're like, it's all just so coy. They're all just so coy about it. Yeah. Just like say what you want to say. Just do it.
That's why he likes her, though, I think. Especially, so there's certain parts, especially with them too, that I that's why I asked you like to write down the scenes that you don't understand, because there's certain scenes that I feel like you need to like the movie. Like the first one when they meet, she overhears him like kind of talking shit about her. Mm-hmm. And he says a certain line, I forgot what it was, but she repeats it back to him, kind of like telling him, like, I heard what you said about me. I don't know if you caught that. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that's, I don't know, it's just the whole, like, and also, you need to watch Bridget Jones' Diary, because that movie is actually, it's kind of a modernized adaptation of this movie. And so I think you'd understand it a little bit more, but he's just people, especially women, really love the archetype of Mr. Darcy, because he's so like, he seems like he's brooding and, like doesn't like anybody, but he has like a soft spot for her. Like it's, it's that whole like trope, and it's more portrayed in Bridget Jones' Diary. But another scene is the one where it's raining and he tells her that he loves her for the first time. So I don't know if that one is that what. It took me a lot of watches to understand exactly what's happening in that one. But did you understand? And what? Okay.
Honestly, I don't even remember.
Okay, it's perfectly fine. So he basically tells her that he loves her despite everything that's stacked against her, despite her being poor, despite her parents being annoying. Like, despite all the reasons that he told that other guy, Bingley, not to be with the sister.
Right.
Despite all that, he loves her.
Yeah, he's like, everything in society wants me to not like you or love you.
Exactly. Even my aunt but I do. And she was like, fuck you. Like, why you telling me you love me, but you used every fucking insult in the book to tell me this. What are you talking about? And what I that's what I love about this movie, though, is that she calls him out. And she's not just being like, you know what, you're right. You're rich and I love you. Because he's like,
He's decked
I don't
out.
know if he is like rich to a point where he has a own fucking statue of himself. You know,
Yeah,
like,
he had
he's
like a
fucking
museum
rich.
in his house.
Yeah, exactly. And you kind of understand the context a little bit more when you see his house, where you're like, oh, okay. Like you see his house and then Jane's, and you're like, I understand what you're saying, dude, but why would you ever say that? You know?
Exactly.
And so yeah, that's just, I think, like she said to her dad at the end, where she was like, he's stubborn, but he really cares. Like he's stubborn. Speaks his mind. Because why would, you know, when you're trying to tell somebody you love them, why would you ever say that shit? But he had to, you know, he wanted to be honest with her.
Yeah. I get that. I guess the only thing that I was confused about is like what happened with that sister and like the whole marriage thing, and he like paid it off. Like what?
Okay.
I don't know what the hell that was.
So that dude was just like a bad dude overall.
Right.
You probably understood that, but basically what he did to the sister, where he was like he to Darcy's sister, that's kind of what he did to the to Jane's sister, but he succeeded. So he basically it's a huge scandal when you just run away with somebody. Like you have to, there's a whole courting system, right? Like what Darcy did, you have to talk to the dad. The dad has to agree. You know, you talk about the financial shit, especially if she has a dowry. Like there's a whole process to it.
Right.
And so it's basically kind of like eloping, because if you run off with somebody, you've damaged not only your name, but your parent, like your family name. And it's a whole scandal. I mean, it's written in the fucking papers, right?
Oh, so he basically saved their like family name
by forcing them to get married. And the only reason that they did that was because and it was they don't have any money. And so they thought it was the uncle, when they were like, you know, he probably paid a lot. Because, and I think the whole agreement of like he will stay married to her, like he only wanted money, I think, or he probably just wanted a fling. And I mean, no offense to that daughter, but she was, you know, she's a handful. She's kind of annoying. So it's not like he didn't know her that well. So it's not like he actually loved her. So I think he was just looking, like he knew that she had a rich uncle, I think. And so that's what he wanted, is that he just wants his status to be high up. And so that's why they were like, oh, he must have paid a lot. Because of the you know, when they wrote the letter back, when she was like, you know, we're gonna have our own house, like it's everything's fine, you don't have to worry about anything. And they're like, yeah, how did you do that?
Okay, yeah. That makes more sense.
And that's another thing too about like why it's such a good love story, is he did all that shit. Darcy did all that, where he not only did he pay for her sister to, you know, for her family not to be ruined, for her sister to be okay, and he did it for his enemy that he fucking hates, you know, like a guy that almost ruined his sister, that basically almost ruined his sister's life, probably ruined her life for a couple of weeks because she was so sad about it. Mm-hmm. And he did that, didn't want any credit, because he didn't want anybody to know that he did that. He just wanted to do it for her.
Solid
like
guy.
All the shit that he did, and he didn't want people to know. And he's just very like, I don't know, it's such a good love story. I love it.
But like it's weird that the mom was upset at Keira Knightley for not marrying her cousin. I get that was like common and that they were distant cousins, but
it was
from a modern perspective, that's like, all right.
So back in the day, what happens when you have all, like the reason they had so many kids is because they were probably trying to have a son, because when the same kind of thing happens in Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah, they want to keep it in the family.
Exactly, because it can't go to a woman. You have to, like your state falls to another man, and he was the first in line. Yeah. And so they wanted to keep it in the family so that they could like still live in their house. Yeah.
It was also hilarious that the mom was like so distraught. She was like really torn up about her daughter leaving, and then she found out she was okay. She was like, all right, we're good. It was like the quick 180, like It was hilarious.
It's such a complicated time to be a parent back then, I think, because I truly think that she did, she not only was she pissed about what the girl did, but I think she did like worry about her daughter. And so her being married, I mean, as a mom, like it's kind of what the mom said to Jane. She was like, you have a bunch of daughters and and then you come to me and tell me that I'm being irrational, which like, that's the only way to secure their future. And it's kind of the same. It goes back to Little Woman, the monologue that Florence Pugh had, where she was like, I'm a woman. There's nothing I can, like, I have to marry rich and I shouldn't be ridiculed for that because that's what I have to do in this world, And so the mom was fucking annoying, but I have a lot of sympathy for her.
Yeah.
And it's the way you feel about it is the same way Darcy did. And that's why he, told Bingley, like, you don't want to be with this girl. And then Keira Knightley's like, okay, dumbass, but just like, he doesn't have to marry my mom, stupid. Like, my sister actually likes him. Yeah, he doesn't just, vomit every fucking word that comes out of her mouth like you just did, moron.
Oh, she's not indifferent.
Yeah, she's just shy.
Whatever. Then I watched I See You.
Okay.
Which I liked.
Think?
I liked.
It was interesting. There's some things that as soon as he started peeing on him, I was like, okay, he would wake up. That's a little much.
That's hilarious, though. That's like,
he should have done that prank of like putting his hand in. I mean, I see why he did it. Obviously, at the end, I was like,
yeah. Once you find out, it's like, okay,
I would have peed on his fucking face. Yeah.
It's just so funny to make someone pee the bed by peeing on them. Like
that is very funny.
That's like someone had that thought when they were really drunk, and then like I won't put that in a movie. That's hilarious.
You know what? The writers' room. I hope they had a day off for that because they deserved it.
Truly, it's the same writers from the After Ever Happily, and then I don't know. The acting was kind of bad in like the first half.
Yeah.
Like the kid when he was yelling at the mom, I was like, nah, this is. You don't know this lady. Like you just met her.
You don't know this lady. You know what though? If it had, always feel bad saying this, but if it had better actors and a better budget, then it would have been a really good movie.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Cause, yeah, I think like better marketing. Cause like the poster that was on whatever this was on was terrible, and the one on Letterboxd is fire.
Prime. It looked like a straight to Redbox movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Letterboxd one, I would have watched this like a fucking year ago.
Immediately.
Whenever it came out. Yeah.
But it is very smart. I like there's a lot of details that, come to light at the end that are just like, damn. Very smart.
I liked it. I think solid movie. Solid, it's a good like movie night movie.
Yeah, I think that's what I put. It's a good movie to watch with like a group of people.
Yeah.
And definitely like to get into the like Halloween, like October 1st, that'd be a good one to watch to get into that, Halloween festive mood.
Ooh, especially if you did like, you started it at at the night of the last day of September. Oh my God, that took me way too long to figure out what month was before October. It's September, right? Yeah. If you watched it and then like as soon as it hit midnight, that's when because I feel like the movie is broken up into two parts. Where the first is kind of a thriller, kind of like a haunting thing, and the second is more of the whole, like the explanation of it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting concept because it did feel like two different movies, but both of them were like horrors. Because like, I mean, obviously, but the like main characters in the two different parts were the opposites, like reason behind the like thrill.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
you know what
very
though?
interesting.
It kind of the sad thing though, and maybe it doesn't have to be sad, but you know that one idea that I had, it kind of does that. Of like, well, not really, but like I want to turn a family drama like very slowly into a horror.
Yeah, but I think this.
Maybe it's just something that can fuel like whatever idea that is. I don't.
Yeah.
This is probably better than the idea I have currently, but
yeah, You could definitely use it as some inspiration, but just make sure yours has better actors and a better budget.
Oh, yeah. Done.
Well, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Those I watched actually, the Pride Prejudice and ICU I watched for Family Tree, so
Oh.
let's do that. I have
Okay.
written down my actor/actress,
Ooh.
so
Let me think real quick.
just waiting on you.
Mm,
Side note,
Mhm.
while you do that, I got this pen yesterday. I'm really into pens. I really like pens. And
so Ashton is very into pens. You need to talk to him about pens.
I got this one. It's like the classic big one, but like the chassis, if you will, is metal. So this is like actual metal. You know, like the ones that like are plastic, crystal clear. This one's metal. It just feels like a cool collector's item. Like I went to the big pen convention and this is what they gave out.
You're wasting this information on me. Because I feel like Sebastian would be like, whoa.
Someone out there.
And I'm like, I don't.
Someone out there
mean,
listening will.
Kind of interesting. Until you lose the cap.
I'm not going to lose it.
Well, mine is what they gave me when my Target closed when I worked at Target. It says care, grow, and win together. It's kind of like a collectible, you know?
Oh.
Just kidding. All right, I have my person.
All right.
Pen time. I'm kidding. Florence Pugh.
Ooh. Taika Waititi.
Oh.
That's a pretty good one. 5 minutes on the clock. Let's go.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Florence Pugh is in it's Black Widow, but I accidentally wrote Black Window.
Okay.
Florence Pugh is in Black Widow with Scarlett Johansson, who is in Avengers Endgame with Taika Waititi.
I think for the first time ever we have the exact same one.
I mean, pretty simple. I forgot that I almost did. It was almost 4 or 3 because I forgot he was in. I did Ragnarok, and I was gonna do Ragnarok to, like I was gonna do, but I forgot he was in Endgame. Dang.
Fair enough. Well, Kayla's right here. Kayla,
All right.
can you give us an actor or actress? And we'll have to guess the name or age.
Logan Lerman.
Ooh, Logan Lerman.
Oh. Alrighty.
King.
Huh.
Okay, I got it. I don't want to say I'm pretty confident, but
Apparently, he's going to be Poseidon in the new Percy Jackson series.
oh really? Kayla said he's gonna be Poseidon in the new Percy Jackson series.
What does that mean? He aged out of Percy Jackson?
I guess so. No, yeah, he's in like Percy Jackson in high school.
They can
Which
change
should be cool, like full circle. I feel like that's happened before.
Poseidon. Is that like supposed to be the dad of Percy Jackson?
Yeah.
He's not that old.
No, but I'm just saying.
Interesting. Who played him in? Who played Poseidon whenever he was?
Oh, I forgot the actor's name.
Wasn't he old?
No, not like super old.
Oh. This is a clue.
This is a clue.
No, I'm gonna stick with mine.
Okay.
I don't think I'm right. How fucking old is he? Because he can't be much older than me, right?
I don't know. Kevin
No.
McKidd played.
I don't know who that is.
He doesn't seem to be.
Okay.
in
You know
a
what?
lot.
All right.
All right, I have mine if you're ready.
Okay. Mine's I guess 32. I think that's too old.
I guess 30.
Okay.
It looks like a 20, but it's a 30.
Should I do the honors?
Go for it. I normally do, but I think it's right. If you get it wrong, then you'll be the first to know.
Fuck, he's 30.
He's 30?
Yeah, he got it right.
I gotta say, I
God
feel like I
damn it.
saw, like, I think he turned 30 recently, and I saw, like, on Twitter. Maybe
I
if
don't know
you
why
were
I thought he was a lot older than me.
if you were on our Twitter more, you would know, because I feel like it was a big thing, and I saw it
That he was 30?
Yeah, he like just turned 30.
All right.
Oh my
No.
gosh, I get to pick. Oh my god. Let's see. Yeah, watch Feels Good Man, which is on Canopy.
Oh, that's on my watch list.
yeah.
Oh, it's on Canopy?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah, watch that. I was gonna say Nosferatu, because I started watching that
God.
last night. But watch Feels Good Man, because that one's good.
I saw this TikTok. What is Nosferatu made? When was it made?
Let me see.
Why are you laughing?
Because I don't know if it was just me, but I heard, what is Nosferatu made?
No, I said when is Nosferatu made, but I meant to say when was it made?
1922.
Okay, so I watched this one TikTok with Sebastian last night, where this girl, I won't say who it was. I also just don't really remember, but she was saying that like she was going through her favorite horror movies, and she was like, I'm just gonna do it by century, or by like not century, by like decade, starting with the 20s. And she said something about like, oh, you can't call yourself a horror fan if you haven't seen, you know, the original ones, the like silent ones, right? And I was like, you know, I paused it. So, you know what, Sebastian, this is why I think that's exactly why I don't like to watch movies that people hype up to me. And like, you know, the classics, why I haven't watched them, why I didn't watch, or the Thing, or, you know, a lot of movies that people are like, you should watch them, which I know they're probably good and I love them. But I hate this era. Like I think I'm just fighting this arrogance that people have where they're like, if you haven't seen this movie that was made in 1915, that's silent, that has, you know, that is just a picture of a fucking vampire, you know, like this like niche, not niche, but like this boring shit that why would I want to watch that? You know, if I could watch Hereditary right now, why would I want to watch that? And
yeah, I mean, it could be good. I don't know. I'll let you
I
know, because I'm going to watch
but
it.
that's fine. And I know it's probably good. But the thing that makes me angry is not the movie itself, and not that I won't like it, but that people are so annoying about being like, well, you can't call yourself a horror film. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I just hate that. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
It's very pretentious. And
maybe I'm pretentious for being like, well, I'm not going to watch it because of that. But like, I don't tell people, oh, you can't call yourself a film or horror fan or a film, what do people say? Not a film fan. What do people call them? Film fanatic?
film fans, I think.
I don't know. But you can't call yourself a movie lover.
A cinephile.
If you've never seen... Cinephile. What the hell? You can't call yourself that if you haven't seen...
Film
whatever.
fan.
You know? Like, it's so annoying. And I kind of get a weird little kick out of when I tell people... Oh, I've seen Godfather, but I've only seen the first and the third one. And they're like, the second's the best one. And I'm like, okay. I wouldn't know.
It's like gatekeeping, but it's like, I don't know. It's just
it's
weird.
Gatekeeping a gate that I don't want to be in. Like they're like, well, we're not going to open it, and I'm like, okay, like, well, we're not going to open it, and you're gonna have to stay out there. That's fine. And they just get mad when I don't care.
The real flex is I saw After We Fell in theaters. So.
That is the real flex. That truly is. And honestly, gate kept, because I will never do that. Maybe after Happy We Fell collide after.
Yeah, maybe that one will be.
Yeah.
Even better.
All right. I feel like we've done the whole episode and we haven't even talked about the movies.
Yeah, let's hit the break.
Okay. Across different eras, a poor family, an anxious developer, and a fed-up landlady become tied to the same mysterious home in this animated dark comedy, In the House. Okay, so I didn't include any of the cast or like crew, because for some reason IMDb lists this as not an anthology but a series, and so because it's made by different people, I was like, you know what, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So
not to be confused by the 2017 movie called The House with Amy Poehler and Will Ferrell.
Oh my god. Yeah, nobody's making that. confusion.
Critics gave it a 7 out of 10 on IMDb and 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. And on Letterboxd, it has an average of a 3.6 star rating.
Whoa. That's kind of high.
Yeah,
I
overall
didn't
pretty
have strong
high.
feelings about it.
Yeah, I think besides like two of my like people I follow on Letterboxd, everyone gave it like pretty average or a little below average ratings. Because honestly, other than the second story, like the second story is the only one I really cared about because, well, I mean, we'll get into it, but first story, what did you think? It's a family who I don't know. I was confused because like
I liked it.
the
I think the
dad's
first was
family
my
comes.
favorite.
Okay, then you maybe lead this because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
know.
first of all, I think not to discredit the animation. What is it called? Stop motion.
Mhm.
Yeah, not to you know. I think a lot of people are just the amazement, like the high scores, or just amazement in general, which I think it fully deserves, is because of how great the animation was.
Oh yeah, and each one is like so distinct.
Yeah.
Like especially
And every
the
time
people.
I watch them, exactly. And every time I watch them, I'm like, this looks so exhausting. Like I would get like maybe, like in Parks and Rec, like I would get that far
Oh.
and then I'd be like, I can't do this anymore. 'Cause
Yeah.
It looks so fucking hard, especially seeing like the water and the way that they did like fire. Like I couldn't do it. Anyways, just overall. So the first one is a family. I think each of them have a theme, right? When it comes to an anthology, they all have like something that they want to say. And I feel like this one is just about, not like appreciating what you have, but also not doing stuff for other people. Because it starts off with, it's just a family of four, just a regular family in a regular house, kind of like the whole like Jane Austen thing, or not Jane Austen, but like in Pride and Prejudice, like they're fine. They have a house to live in. They're, but they're not like wealthy by any means. And his family, I think it's his family, right? Comes over. His mom is just a bitch. Like she's just like, oh, you're still in this
Yeah.
house? All right. Like why? She just like is criticizing him, makes him feel like shit. And so I think he gets like drunk or something and he stumbles out of his house. He falls into, or he like stumbles upon this one person. We only ever see him, I think we see him in the carriage thing. Or no, is it a carriage or it's like a little house?
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
know.
it's like a little carriage thing. I mean, we see him a couple times, and he's a creepy dude.
Exactly. And I guess I should say that's the first time we see him. And we learn that the dad has kind of made some sort of deal with him where they have to give up their old home and he builds them a custom like grand house. But obviously nothing is ever free. I guess that's another story, or that's another theme of this. It just gets like really disturbing from there where the parents turn into the furniture. There's a guy there that's supposed to be like kind of the butler, and he's like having a mental breakdown the entire time.
That's
Which
hilarious.
honestly, I get it, Yeah, I feel like I like this one though. I feel like a nightmare I've had before, where you just wake up and your stairs are gone. Like that just feels very like nightmarish. I love how it was very, not just figuratively, but like literally darker than the rest of them. Like it was just like I didn't notice it until we got to the next one where the lighting was just so dark.
Right.
The animation of the daughter and the baby were so fucking cute.
That
loved
baby
how
was
they looked.
that baby was tough because it like was
Truly.
when they like left the house, they were like crawling down. It was just so funny to see the little baby
just went, yeah.
scale down that building, the house.
Yeah, very. I was trying to think of like put myself in the shoes of that kid, just like carrying around my like sister around the whole thing, and just can you imagine like you as a baby, like me putting you on a fucking like rope thing and you just crawling down? You would have just rolled off and died.
I would have died.
But that's just a very funny visual to me. But somebody did put in the Letterboxd review that baby built different. That was the only thing they said. God, I wish I could be funny on Letterboxd, but I could never think of shit like that. But yeah, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I thought it was, like I said, it just felt very like I understood exactly what they were trying to say. It was very creepy, and I do wish that this one was last, because I feel like to me it was the stronger of the three. I see why the third one was I see why it was first, because it was the building of the house, but I just I didn't like it, or I didn't like the other ones as much as I liked this one, so I wish that this one was kind of, I think I wish the tone and like how strong this one was lasted throughout, but I feel like it kind of lost its momentum, like literally lost its momentum by the end. Because I really like the second one.
Yeah, I like the second one a lot. Like a contractor rat is like perfect character. That's like,
we can just go into that one and then just do overall thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to, I assume everyone watched it, so I don't really want to go through it, but I this one I felt like I had a better grasp of it. Like this rat is trying to fix this house and sell it. And like, I don't know, to me that like that metaphor sticks with me more, because it's like all of like the flaws of his house is just like ended up consuming him, like of his creation. And that musical number with all the insects I was
wild.
Perfect.
I liked it a lot, yeah. It reminded me of favorite Cats, sequence. Though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I feel like there's roaches in that too, right?
Yeah, and they dance. And the voice of that rat, the like big one. Loved it.
Very creepy.
The raspy voice. We're very interested in this house. Yeah. I like too, and I didn't realize that it was basically like they were the shape of the bugs that were, were infesting the home. I loved that visual. And the last scene was so disturbing. It felt so like visceral, and I didn't like it. It felt like a nightmare,
Yeah, this one, like it felt like my brain would conjure it. Like just bugs infesting an entire house and then infesting you, just like. Maybe that's why we liked it more, because I feel like maybe the first one for you, that's a nightmare your brain is fucked up to create, and my brain is fucked up to create the second one.
Maybe. I did feel, I do have a lot of like dreams about bugs and stuff like infesting your home, but I think it's just, I guess if you're thinking about the metaphors of it, like he obviously was dealing with a lot of shit. I want to know so much about that dentist, about him and the dentist. I need to know about that. That was so interesting. Like,
what a
why was he calling him
relationship.
darling? Yeah, like what? Interesting, but I don't know. I guess I kept trying to. I hate when I do this, but sometimes it distracts me. But I try to figure out like what this movie or what it's trying to tell me. And I feel like this one was just about, like you said, it felt like intrusive thoughts, like, especially what was going on with his dentist, where he was obviously like this guy. It was calls that were not solicited, but also not wanted. He like, it seemed like we couldn't hear the other end of the phone, but he didn't seem like he wanted him to ever talk to him again.
Yeah.
And how like you said, like it kind of like infects, like when like stuff like that, like when you have when you have such strong feelings about people or just about anything, it can like invade every part of your life. And that's kind of what it felt like, like maybe if it's depression or if it's loneliness, like it's fully enveloping your, the home of that, you like your brain, like, yeah, and it's hard to get rid of. Like seems like they multiply no matter what you do. And you know what? That kind of reminds me of the Fallout, where you could do all the cleaning, you could do all the mental work that you want, and that you're able to do, but it doesn't. You can't, clog up every hole. You can't keep everything out. and it'll always boil up, and it'll always, you know,
Something's got to give.
yeah, but
eventually.
it just depends on the house that you put yourself in, and it obviously wasn't stable for him. Like the situation that he was in was not a great one, and he was just kept avoiding it, and he was just plugging up, you know, instead of killing them, he just kept avoiding. Yeah.
True.
So yeah, I mean, I liked that one. The one I didn't like, and that just it was so hard for me to pay attention, was the third one though. I just didn't care about it.
Yeah, I mean that one like felt more clear. Like obviously it's like Mother Earth, right? And people are just gonna do whatever they want to it, and like just for their own benefit, no matter how it impacts the house itself or Earth itself.
Yeah, and you gotta adapt.
Yeah, but I just didn't care for it as much. Maybe it was because it was so clear, because there was no room left for me to like interpret or be confused.
Yeah, okay. There was also no dance sequence.
That's true,
Wrenches.
but you could say same for the first though. Same for the first.
Okay. We already talked. So I have some questions, but we already talked about which one was our favorite, right? Yours was the second, mine was the first.
Yeah.
We talked about what you think they meant, so I guess we did talk about all these questions. So how do you think the stop motion? Because usually when I watch animated movies like this, I always like think about how the way that they animated it, the choice that they made to how, you know, how they wanted to tell the story. How do you think it elevated it, or do you think they could have done something different?
That's interesting. I think for the
visually
first,
it worked.
yeah, it worked definitely for pretty much all of them, because for the first one, I mean they're like fabric, right? Or they're like that. I forgot what it's called, but where you like poke
Felt?
needles with it. Yeah, like felt, I guess.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they're like very.
Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe it's because.
Interesting choice of how to style the humans versus the animals too, though.
Because the humans are very round.
Just like round felt, like the like textures that they used. Because the animals were obviously, it looked like Fantastic Mr. Fox, you know, like not realistic because they're talking and walking, but like, you know, the textures of their fur was like more realistic to what they look like, and the humans weren't. I don't know. I didn't know if that was like a choice in wanting to symbolize something, or they were just like, I just like how that looks.
Yeah, I mean, I
never know with animated stuff, you know, or stop motion.
Because they did feel like a dollhouse, like the little like the humans felt like figurines in a dollhouse.
And she did have a dollhouse, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe there's something there. Also, it could just be that they look funny. I mean, like the attention to detail is very visually satisfying, because I think the eyebrows, especially, they're like like 4 different like little strands or whatever. It's like you can tell how many are there, and it's just like insane that they even like got down to that tiny. I assume it's pretty tiny.
I need to see. I think they're a little bit bigger than we probably think, though. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
when you've seen, I'm assuming you've seen the behind the scenes for Fantastic Mr. Fox, but they're a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah. I was more so like interested in the like props in the second one. Like there's a scene where you it's like the opening one where you see I guess all of them are props, right? Like this like stop motion is just a bunch of props.
Yeah, but you know.
But the like accessories, I guess, like there was a toilet, like all the stuff that was on the street outside of his like apartment or wherever he was. Like I really liked all of that. But yeah, I think as far as like the style, I think you pointed it out perfectly, at least for the second one, where the rats that ended up like infesting the house were the shape of like the insects. Like I feel like the materials that they use and the textures are probably, maybe I'm just too dumb to understand, but I feel like it serves more of like the visual, like this is satisfying to watch and not necessarily for the like a higher image or a metaphorical thing.
Maybe. I don't know, that, like I said, that's just a question I always think about. Like, it seems very, unless, like I said, unless they were like, well, we have the budget for stop motion, so do you want to do that? But it seems like they make a conscious decision to be like, this story can only be told with that kind of animation. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe because you couldn't make I guess you could do it like hand drawn, like animated in that way, but
I think the vibes would be different. Stop motion
Yeah.
I think it's very easily creepy, you know?
yeah, I think it is like there is an eerie level of just like the way these characters move, and
Yeah.
because it has like that same ridiculousness of like a hand-drawn animation, but you have more of like the 3D like realistic look to it,
Right.
of that like texture. You just can't get that texture. I guess you could like 3D model it, but
Yeah. Solid though. I liked it. I think it was it was unlike anything I've ever seen. So
yeah,
I liked
it does
it.
have me excited for Pinocchio.
Oh, I forgot
The
about that. Yeah.
one
That
coming
was
out in
just
December.
announced, right? There's no trailer, right? Is it just an announcement?
There's like a little snippet of yeah, I mean there's like a little
Something?
trailer, I think, like a little teaser.
Is it stop motion?
I think so.
Ooh. I mean, if there's one animated movie that like one animation style that I more gravitate towards, I think it's that stop motion.
Oh, I think
Like
it's
there's-
computer animated, but it
Oh,
looks stop motion.
okay. It's like realist, like, or what do you call it? Has like realism? I don't know.
Yeah,
What the fuck I'm talking about.
yeah. I don't know either.
All right, I have one fun fact. It's mostly just the way that IMDb users have beef with IMDb. It's so fucking
Oh
funny.
yeah, go for it.
Despite being listed as a TV series, this is actually a single feature film. The 3 episodes found here are actually just the 3 chapters of this anthology film. There's no way on Netflix to watch them or to watch the film as 3 separate episodes. It is simply presented as a 97-minute film.
That's so like passive aggressive. Like
I
what the
know,
hell?
they use 3 sentences to say the same fucking thing. All right, dude. This is a movie. You can't watch it in 3 installments. So why would you ever put it as a TV series on IMDb? What the fuck? People have
That's
so much
hilarious.
time. Alrighty. I'm ready for the fallout. Are you?
Yeah, let's go for it.
High schooler Veda navigates the emotional fallout she experiences in the wake of a school tragedy. Relationships with her family, friends, and view of the world are forever altered in the fallout. Written and directed by Megan Park, starring Jenna Ortega, Maddie Ziegler, and Niles Fitch.
Critics gave it a 7.2 on IMDb, a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, and on Letterboxd it has an average of a 3.9 stars,
Solid.
which we gave it the same 3.5. Solid movie. I cared
it.
about a lot of the characters, and I felt like Quentin especially kind of got like sidetracked. I get it wasn't
Yeah.
like, I mean it is his story, but I wanted to see more.
I think that's kind of the point, though, because, like, when you hear about movies, I don't know how many movies have been made about school shootings. I can't imagine a ton. But if you're thinking about, you know, wanting to make that as a feature, I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards, you know, the people that, either the people that were killed or the people related to people that were killed or the people like her friend Nick who turned into activists. And so I do like seeing the perspective. Although I would still love to see, you know, movies about that experience. I think that this was an important point of view to see, you know, somebody
That's true.
that was there, that was still at risk, that still suffers from the PTSD of, that happening. But they don't, they just, the different kind of, like grief or trauma, or just the different kind of way to process all of that. I like seeing that perspective.
That's true. Yeah.
Because I truly can't imagine what it is like going through that.
Yeah, and Jenna Ortega did fantastic showing that.
I love her. Yeah.
She was really a highlight, and I really like the like direction of this movie. Like one of our like most hated things is like showing like phones in movies, because people just don't get it right. But I think
this is pretty spot on though.
I think Megan Park did it fantastic.
Yeah.
And I really liked how she did the like texting between them, because we only see it from Jenna's perspective, but like the different shots, like it was interesting. It wasn't like super boring where or she's like reading out loud what she's saying or what is being sent to her.
She did say LOL out loud a couple of times though.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if people do that. I've never heard that before, but
there was a couple
I think this
of
is
things,
more of your generation.
Honestly, I felt a disconnect too, because there was a couple of things where I was like, I don't even know. Like, this doesn't, like, I wouldn't do that. I've never even heard of people doing that, like.
Yeah.
With the, like, emojis. When she's like, oh, is everything cool with Quentin's brother? Like, I don't know.
He died, and then that crying one.
Yeah. I felt like a disconnect with that. Just, I was like, maybe this is like what the kids are doing now. Like, I had that thought.
Also, do people, like, so that's why we're talking about this, because obviously the people in this movie are, I don't know what generation they're part of, but they're not a part of mine. At least this is not set during a time when I went to high school. And so, like, I was doing this question, like, I don't think I've ever texted the way that, I don't know why we're getting such a deep dive on this, but I don't know if I've ever texted the way that they did when they're like, are you, and they put the letters instead of typing it out. I've never done that. The only time I could think of was when I had the phone where you had to type, to type C, you have to press 1 like 3 times.
Yeah, like a flip
that
phone.
kind of thing. Yeah. I understand that. I think then I texted like that because it was easier to. But why do people text like that now? Do people text like that now?
I don't know. Let us know, because I honestly have no idea.
I spell everything out.
Yeah.
But
maybe that's how they do it so fast. But I did like that like direction of that, because it, it's pretty simple. Like, I feel like it's overlooked, but it felt fresh, and I like that aspect. Even
the Instagram, I forgot, because so I saw this during South by, and I did, this was a long time ago too, because that's the only time I'd ever seen it, and so that was like a year ago, and I forgot how realistic everything was. Like the TikTok dancing. Remember that scene where she's just doing the TikTok dance and she's like texting about like heavy shit, and then when she's on, like, something as small as when she was on Instagram scrolling and she like zoomed in. On like just everything, like you said, I think it just adds to the immersiveness of it, because as soon as you see, instead of like Instagram, it's like Insta chat, or like as soon as you see something that is made up, you kind of taken out of it. So I did like that too. Like, it's such a small thing to critique, but I liked it. Also, when you were watching it, because I remember I texted you, because whenever somebody put online, or I think I saw on Twitter or something, I saw on Twitter that this movie was on HBO Max, and so that's when I texted you, like, kind of last minute, but I was asking, like, if we could do this movie. Did you know anything about it before you watched it?
No, but when I found out, I was like, you gotta settle in, because it was, and Kayla kind of like was clued in, and she was like, is this what this movie is about? And I was like, I don't know. But then the incident, as Shaylee Ann Woodley calls it, happened.
Yeah. And that scene too is so, I don't know. It just, that whole situation, I can't fucking imagine. Especially, I don't know. Like, just to think when you're not in a classroom, and I know no matter what, you're probably not 100% safe, but like to be in the bathroom, that's my worst fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
And I
it's a
thought
very
about that
vulnerable
constantly.
position.
But it started, I think, yeah, exactly. But I think it reminded me of just a lot of my, I think why I liked it, but also kind of worried me, is because it felt realistic, not of like, obviously that didn't, thankfully that never happened when I was in school, but it did feel like it reminded me at least of what my high school experience was like. So I think that's a credit to how realistic the movie was in its writing and casting, just everything in general. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I think we had, because like stuff like this has started to happen. Obviously, I mean, before my time and like the time of like Columbine, but like I feel like it didn't get super prevalent. I mean, I know like going to school, what I'm trying to say is I know going to school, I used to think about like that being a possibility, but it was never like as prevalent as I imagine the kids going to school now feel.
Yeah,
You
it must
know?
be really rough, especially, you know, when she eventually goes back, they have like that little PowerPoint presentation. That's a really like traumatic thing that like no one should have to go through, and it's just
The sad thing too is it doesn't end. Cause like I remember in college, I don't know if it's just, I'm assuming it's just because I was an RA, but we had to go early, like at like a week or like 2 weeks or something before anybody got on campus, because we had to do training, and one of the trainings was always active shooter training
yeah.
for the
And
dorms, and
I
so
like
it
how
never
that's
fucking ends.
I like how that's like kind of where we leave like with the character,
Oh my
because she
God,
gets
the
like a
ending.
notification on her phone saying that there was another shooting.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is that even though this is such a specific experience that the movie is showing, that it is very relatable in certain ways. Like when it ended, I told Sebastian about how the reason I love the ending so much is because it feels, it feels like she's going somewhere in her recovery. Like she
Mm-hmm.
is talking to her parents more. She had a good conversation with her friend. She seems like she's doing a lot better. And then, like you said, she gets a notification that another shooting happened in a different school and that 12 people are dead. And she starts having a panic attack. And that's when it ends too. Like it drops out and you still hear her having her panic attack. I just think it's such a powerful ending, especially as somebody who deals with mental health issues, even like separate from this. Like I've never dealt with anything like this, but with my own personal like mental health journey, I feel like a lot of people can relate to the fact that you feel like you're in a good place, like you have done all the work. Like this happened last year. Um or I think about two things: what happened last year, just personally, but also what happened in Texas. And I feel like I think I watched, I'm trying to remember when South by happened in relation to the storm. But
I think pretty close in relation.
I can't remember if it was after or before though. But anyways, it it just felt like, that was such a weird time in the virus, the whole like thing happening where like it wasn't over, and people were starting to get vaccinated. We were starting to go, I was making appointments. That's when I got my wisdom teeth out. Like just stuff was starting to get back to normal. And then the fucking storm happened. And, like we were fine. We were like dealing with, being in a pandemic for almost, I think it was like almost or over a year at that point. And then like one of the scariest things that is actually like, that's happened to like me, I would at least think, happened. And that just, I thought it was fine. But that was like mentally like one of the weirdest times in my life, because I felt like all the things that I had learned and prepared myself over during the pandemic, of like, how scary it could be to lose a loved one, how scary it could be for you shit to go down, or like personally, like how to take care of your family, like all this shit that I feel like we were dealing with and we were kind of fine with, and then it just like went out the fucking window. And yeah, it just felt like a weird time. And I feel like that's such, like I said, my own mental health journey, where I feel like I was going to therapy for like a year. I felt really good. My therapist was actually told me like, I'm going to take a break for a couple of months, so we're not gonna have sessions, but I feel like you'll be fine. And then October happened, and I feel like that was like the worst mentally I've been in such a long time. And it just, yeah, it just like it's I think it's such a good reminder that it can be, you know, cyclical. It's not always like a one, like you fix it, like she's fixed it, she's going to therapy, she's fine, and she will never have to deal with this ever again.
It's a constant battle.
Never, exactly. And so I like that it didn't necessarily have a happy ending, but it kind of, if you think about it though, it kind of did, because now she has a support system that she knows she can lean on. So, true.
And yeah, like you were talking about like just dealing with like the trauma and the PTSD. I liked how they showed how she didn't really realize like the impact she was having on her family, and when she you know, not necessarily the mom, because I didn't resonate with that one as much, but when the sister told her, you know, like, or asked her, you know, why do you hate me, or like, why have you been hating me, I was like, damn, that's deep. And with the dad, you know, that was a little bit more lighthearted, where they're just yelling whatever deep thoughts that they have.
But I also like that he brought up, it was kind of like, you know, not as, like you said, not as you know, heavy. That's what I'm saying. Not as heavy, but it was still something I think people forget. But how he said, like, where she said she's scared to go to school, and he said, I'm scared to take my kids to school. Yeah. Yeah. That's fucking scary. Like, I remember when it all changed. I feel like it obviously felt like a possibility for a while, but I will never forget the day that Sandy Hook happened. Because I feel like people were, you know, it was like always high schools or like older kids, and that was kind of scary. But at that point, I think Emily was she was still in high school, or I don't know, but I was in high school, and I think you guys were like in elementary or middle school. And so it felt like something like, well, if it happens, you know, here, it'll be fine. I mean, it won't be fine, but like, you know, I at least I'd rather it happen to where I'm there and not when y'all are there. And when Sandy Hook happened, I was like, fuck that. I think that changed everything, just in general. Like for it to happen to young kids was fucking scary.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine. Yeah. And it's very realistic too, because I do remember seeing a documentary about school shootings, and some girl, I think she was in Columbine, so she's a lot older now, and she said that every single time she sees something on the news of another school shooting, she has a panic attack. And so I feel like that is a very realistic thing to portray, how it's not, you know, all these kids, and it's at this point it's like thousands of kids that have to deal with this shit, and parents and siblings and you know, just families in general. Yeah.
A very important story. Glad I was able to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was very, I like, what's the word I'm trying to say? It was dealt with very well, I think, and delicately.
Shout out to Megan Park. It's also amazing soundtrack. Some good music. So always love to hear that.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Great movie. Highly recommend. That's all I got too. But bonus towards the end that I want to bring up that I forgot to. Did you see that TikTok I sent about the Batman thing?
Yeah, okay. So some good marketing.
You know, I fucking love some good marketing for a movie. Did you figure it out? Yeah.
No,
well, I just think first of all, I read, I don't know if this is true, but I think it's the same marketing company that did the Matrix one.
Ah, that makes sense. No, so it's like a whole, like,
well, I guess we should explain. So, yeah, so, well, obviously, because it's the Riddler's one of the, I think, like, no, I don't know if he's the main villain, but he's in the movie, obviously.
Yeah, they're making him out to be, I think.
Yeah. But they put a tweet out where some of the letters, like it was so strange, but some of the letters were capital. And if you put all of the capitalized letters in your search engine, then it comes up with like some weird website that's giving you 3 riddles. And if you get them right, which we got them, well, we did cheat a little bit. But another cool thing though is that, because I think Sebastian, like I saw the TikTok, like if you go on it, the comments like that, somebody tells you all of them. But Sebastian he was like looking up something. And if you go back, like if you open another tab to try to like figure it out, and if you go back, then it tells you, it knows that you opened up another tab. Like it said something about like I know that you looked in other sources for the answer or something.
That's cool.
Which is very cool. Very scary, but very cool. But when you win, or when you like get all the riddles, they like send you, if there's like a picture that you get. I don't know what the picture was. I think the penguin was in it, but I don't know what else it was. It was like a woman, and I don't know. And then somebody on the comments said to go back to the page that you won from, because it opens a different tab for that. But if you go back to the other page and you refresh, then there's some like cipher thing that pops up.
Oh yeah, and has anyone solved it yet?
Not that I know of.
Dang, I haven't done anything, but I saw that and I was like, that's cool.
I think it's very cool. And I hope that people, like, because of the Matrix and because of this, and I mean, I at least hope the marketing team keeps working for other movies, but I also hope that people start to step up their game. Yeah. Because when people want interaction with movies, this is what they talk about. Like, I think it's very fun. And also, it distracts from leaks. Dumbasses. Come on.
That's true.
But
yeah, it would have been cool. I don't know what they would have done for No Way Home.
Probably nothing. I mean, with stuff like that, it's kind of hard to stay away from leaks, but it at least can distract, like they give you something.
Yeah.
And also such a good maybe way. It doesn't fit with it.
That's true. It's just a good way to get like into the atmosphere of the universe that the movie's set in. Because it feels like it's like leaking into ours. So it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Well, No Way Home, well, to give it some credit, they did have that one, like Liberty Mutual was like putting out shit, like tons of shit for that. And remember they had that one like random booth, like a news booth. Do you remember that?
Oh, that's right.
Where they had like newspapers, like the Daily Bugle. Yeah. So, I mean, there's that.
Yeah. That's true.
What more do you want?
I don't know. I like the website integration. That's cool.
Yeah. That was it. Just a little bonus thing.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Solid.
We'll see you next week for something. I don't know. My Sundance video should be out later this week. I wanted to wait until like it's over and today's the last day.
It's still going on?
Yeah.
Oh,
today's the last day. You can watch. I'm pretty sure you can still buy tickets to see. Or by the time this comes out now. So disregard.
So never mind. All right.
Bye.
See ya.